the October 7th Redevelopment Commission meeting. Can we do a roll call?
Pete Murphy,
Present.
Dale Needleman,
Here.
Shannon Walls,
Here.
Alex Jordan.
Here. Yeah. Meeting minutes from August.
I can't vote.
Larry can't vote.
Yep, Larry can't vote.
Seems a lot shorter on paper.
It does, doesn't it?
It does.
It really does, doesn't it? I don't see.
I motion to accept the minutes.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, next we have the financial report.
Sorry this got late. I just looked at it before the meeting, honestly. Just a couple notes. You see we've started paying on the traffic light, and quick note on that. I know we jumped out to a really fast start on that, and then it looks like we're doing nothing. We are still well within the original timeline. We're actually waiting on the electrical connection from 9 Star. So the check's been sent in, everything's processed. We're just waiting for them to hook up the meter. And then there's a few then they'll get the traffic lights going. We're still waiting on the decorative lighting and the decorative bases, but we can do those after the fact. So we anticipate that meter getting hooked up real soon and then getting the installs going. Oh, we also have lit road signs, street name signs that will be later too.
So the rumor going around my neighborhood, of course, because we're affected, is we have parts delays because of the tear-offs and the lights are in back order and all this. How does that stuff get out there?
I have no idea. Social media.
I mean, literally, that's what I saw on our little Facebook.
that on Facebook.
Yeah, we actually are within the original timeline. It just feels like we're not because we got so much done so quickly. It does, some of those specialty parts take forever, so, but hopefully we'll get the lights up and running here sooner than later in the next couple of weeks, and then we can finish up
The latest is it's gonna be done by Thanksgiving. is what they vote.
I don't remember the original date. It was like November.
It's in November is the drop.
These people know a lot.
But it's in process. We're starting to pay some of those bills.
Maybe change it to Christmas.
The only other thing I'll mention is our RDC operating expenses are down to very little, but we're, like, all the expenses for the property acquisitions we're working out are coming out of road impact, or not road, park impact fees, things like that. So we have a few utility bills, but we could take those out of the Broadway TIF if we needed to, so we'll be fine. And there should be enough money to get us through the end of the year. Where we'll have to cover something is some of our FA expenses for this year-end reports and whatnot. In November, we'll have our overlapping taxing unit meeting where we do the annual reports.
So are we all reconciled now with the TIF districts, or are we still having some difficulties there?
I have yet to date seen a spreadsheet that shows me every parcel with what we've collected and reconciled. That's part of what the FA is working on for our annual reports.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll have that soon. And we are not the only ones having problems right now. There's been a lot of issues in Fortville, from what I understand, and a couple in Cumberland. So I don't know what the issues are with that, but yeah, we have not seen reconciled numbers yet, but I think we're close.
I saw the one entry under McCordsville HRH said corrected fault TIF county error, so it made me think, are they all corrected?
Yeah, and I still wonder, I still question the North 600 having 100,000 in it, just because with the tax abatements in there, I don't believe we're collecting that much, but I think they have something assigned to the wrong
South
one.
Park, probably.
Southwark, but but even with the tax abatement, they were 100%, so.
But graduating,
but I think we're on year 3, so it's hard to tell until I can see the actual report. It's a guess, but it's good we have a little money in there.
And what's Morphe Construction?
That is the signal traffic
Oh,
signal.
okay.
If you recall, we're taking it out of several different buckets there.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, we have no old business, so we've got some new business. First one is resolution.
Sorry, one more question.
We got one
Sorry.
more question.
Sorry, under the additional appropriation, the enterprise title for the 252, was that the purchase of the Broadway?
Yes.
Property?
Yes.
And which one was it? The one over by
That-
Tracks or the auto, the auto part, or the auto place?
I'd have to go back. Which one is it?
It's
Enterprise title?
May 5th, Cinco de Mayo.
I believe Enterprise was the one on the north side.
North side, okay.
North side.
The parking.
How did we pay for the one on the south side?
I'd have to go back and look, to be honest.
Oh.
So I don't recall off the top of my head. Enterprise though was handled through that. They had a broker on that. They had a broker on the north one,
Okay.
and he recommended going through Enterprise. The other one we just handled with the owner direct. So
I think I see it up on, oh, never mind,
So you
sorry.
got two enterprises. You got 100 up
There's-
there and then 262 down here.
And then there's Near North Title Group, but it's under McCordsville HRH. That wouldn't be it.
yeah, I'd have to go back and look at what those are.
Okay.
What is that near North One Road? That's a big.
They're in our name. so-
348.
So Alex just asked, what is that Near North one, that 348 under HRH? Back on April 1st?
First.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Did we buy something in April?
Well, actually, that might have been it because then.
That might have been
That's
it.
what
You're
the
right. We didn't
Broadway.
buy them at the same
So we
time.
bought that out at the McCordsville HRH? Bond?
The Broadway Aurora.
Yeah, that's under Broadway
Nice.
Aurora, the 348.
Who it is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
Because that.
This is a
district
weird
is-
spreadsheet. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought I was looking at under the summation.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
see what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
saying.
That
Okay.
would have been the one for the small auto
Post
dealer.
office, right.
Got it. Thank you. Sorry for going backwards.
Okay, now we have resolution 100725 concerning acquisition of real property 6832 North 600 West.
Yeah, so as you were aware, we've been going through the process of trying to acquire 2 properties along 600 for future parkland. We've done all the steps on these. So what I mean is the first step in the acquisition process is the average 2 appraisals making an initial offer. So that's what you have before you tonight. If you approve the resolutions, I have the offer letters written. They're obviously contingent upon all the other stuff. So I have a survey. I did legal descriptions. We met with a structural engineer on the barns. Those reports are getting written, I think, this week or next. That was our first time to kind of go through them. We just initiated a phase 1 because that property is on. I wasn't going to because they've been farmed forever, but after walking through it, and then there was a septic. I want that identified, so we went ahead and did the phase 1. We did them as one parcel though. Same thing with the survey. If you noticed, essentially it's actually one survey for both
Yeah,
parcels.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, in the end, that's what we want it to be. We'll probably combine them at some point if we're able to acquire them. So we have a lot of different processes in this one where everything will be documented really well. This is the homestead, I believe. The north one. So the homestead is in the state. The average of the 2 appraisals came in lower than I anticipated. However, what I found out, if you read the appraisals, and I did attach them, they're public record, was the building was under construction. They were renovating.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the rooms, if you look through them, there's no walls. The bathrooms needed renovated,
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. So both appraisals deducted for that. Just
Like
how they
60
did it.
grand, I think.
It was like 63 grand, something in there. So I probably would have been closer in the 300s there. So, but both of them did the same thing due to that. So this is our average of 2 appraisals. I don't know what else I'd say for that one.
So does that house maybe have less risk for like asbestos or lead?
Yeah, the northern property I have a lot less concern on. I'm actually pretty excited about the property's really nice. The building, the renovation part, we're probably gonna renovate anyway, so it's
Mhm.
not that huge a deal to us, so.
Is it on a well too, or did it have a?
Yeah, we'll have to run just the honest of walking through these properties is sometimes you gulp and think, what are we getting into?
Yep, for sure.
Especially the barns, but yeah, we're gonna have, this will be phased out. We'll have to take baby steps, cleaning up the property, getting rid of trees, utilities will have to be run. I think the house is probably the low hanging fruit to kind of make it functional and figure out the uses for it. I think you could add some offices upstairs. I think you could have either some meeting room or a convention visitors bureau type area, or it's like an executive getaway type spot on the first floor. It's a cool little house, so you're gonna have to do some ADA accessibility items on it, stuff like that. So, but the northern property's in pretty good shape overall.
So my only question, I watched the YouTube video
Mhm.
to catch up, so hopefully I'm not asking dumb questions, but the vision for the interconnectivity with all of our parks, if you wanted to visit the round barn, where would you park your car?
Without having done a site plan, in general, I've gone back and forth. Originally, I had envisioned a loop, but I really only want one cut off of 600. I want one in and out. So after visiting the site, what I'd probably do is take the round barn entrance, because it's a little wider, and make that your main entrance. In between the barns is where we'd probably put a parking lot.
Okay.
And then you'd probably have a drive over with a smaller row of parking for events at the house. And then you'd probably close off that other entrance, or leave it as like a maintenance emergency exit.
Well, and I would assume if it's like a weekend, the school might be accessible for
Yeah.
parking and things like
Yeah.
that.
The location Tim described for the driveway also works well with across the street. Someday, we assume development will occur over there, and the location Tim described is set up to be a nice drive location for that other property as well. So it kind of
Drive for the Champion Lake boat ramp there?
Well, it's south of that. That's the
Oh,
good
it
news. It's going to separate itself from the boat ramp, which is what we want.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's the boat ramp. I'd lean towards making this your main entrance and either minimizing that or closing it off. And then you come in here, and this area in the middle is probably your parking area reconfigured. Depending on what we do, the round barn is going to take some work, but it's doable. This barn, we're going to have to really assess what to do with it.
Viability.
I was gonna ask if are we keeping both of those back barns, or I guess just a assessment?
I would like to. I was kind of hoping this was a little more open, where we could use it maybe as an event space or something.
Mhm.
There's definitely a lean-to up here that needs to go right away. So we'll have to re-look at it when it's cleaned up, assuming we even come to terms,
Mhm.
and then clean up the property. But yeah, I kind of envisioned your main parking area kind of being in the middle here, and then you kind of have a roadway over here, and you kind of do angled parking there up to the house. So, but we have not done any kind of site layout or anything. This is all very preliminary, just being on the site. I really don't want to disturb up here or down here too much, other than like trails and maybe a community garden when we do that, things like that as we get down the road.
I was probably driving the backhoe down there already, put it in that barn.
So this is our legally required initial offer. How these are set up is, this is the resolution. Identify, here's the preliminary survey. There's no easements or anything we really have to be concerned about. Right away does go back. The one thing we'll have to address later if we do acquire these is the right of way for the road goes pretty far back, almost to the barn and the homestead.
Looks like it.
And so to tuck a trail in there as well, like along 600 to connect everything, it's going to be pretty tight. We're going to have to arm wrestle Ryan for some leeway. It's just tight.
Is that right away consistent on the north side of that? We're like right there, yeah, because
You're gonna have to,
that would run right into the barn.
You have to
That would
take
run
it.
into the house.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to skinny up on the barn if we ever get to that spot.
You're going to have to jog that trail and probably take it down from 10 feet to 5 feet.
Are we gonna have to kink the road though, too, in the future?
It's an option if we had to. I think we would like to not kink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could also, you never know, you could incorporate the trail another way through there too. So nice thing is if it's owned by the town, it's parkland, we have a little more option.
Public access easement. or
Yeah,
something.
we're not buying right away for something. So.
When I saw you had laid it in, last meeting, you laid it in with the current subdivision plan maybe that was being proposed. Is there
Lane
any
Farms?
synergy with that, or are we kind of two separate entities as it relates to them?
You wanna?
Yeah, the Lane Farms, we've worked with them through their primary plat process and the rezone process to get them to agree to essentially extend the trail through their development
Okay.
and tee out over to the west end of their property. So in the future, should that develop in some manner, there will be a connection throughput.
Okay.
Again, process-wise, this is the average of two appraisals. The offer letter has them either accept it or reject it and then counter. I learned a long time ago, if you don't ask for the counter, you just get a rejection and you're just negotiating it yourself. So I would send that out tomorrow and then wait for a response and then try to negotiate a final price and timelines. I know Round Barn in particular has timeline is important to them. So
Okay.
negotiating those final things and then depending on timing of it, if that happens quickly and we can come to terms, I don't know. I might call a special meeting to get the process to do a final offer. I don't know with this group what they're thinking number wise. I know a little bit more on the Round Barn and we'll talk about that in a minute. So
Can you remind me of the mechanism? But we're going to use park impact funds, but it's coming through the RDC. We're just doing like a monetary transfer on an account.
yeah, so what we're actually talking about that today because we're looking into we're getting an opinion of how that works through the State Board of Accounts because it's not a tax account, it's a fee account, so it doesn't need appropriated and doesn't need to go through council. But we do feel that there needs to be some kind of balance. So what we're leaning towards is the park board would authorize the use of funds for the RDC. So we have it documented that way because technically park impact fees are under the park board.
Should there be anything in this resolution about the funding mechanism, or just?
We'd probably put that in the next resolution.
Okay.
This is more of the very standard average of two appraisals.
Here's our
Go
offers.
pursue it.
Yeah, go
Okay.
pursue it.
So there'll be another resolution to actually purchase it.
Unless they accept our offer.
Okay.
It
So
just
are we
doesn't have a
offering
lot.
this 230?
This is what you're offering.
This is what it's saying, even though it's
Yeah.
not to exceed?
Not
That
to
is what
exceed
we're going in.
230 is what we're going in at,
Okay.
which is the average of the two appraisals.
Okay.
These were actually pretty close. These appraisals were
Yeah, I like the.
were tight, which you never know. I've had them hundreds of thousands of dollars off, and I've had them within a few bucks.
But if
So
we go at 230, which is our max, and they counter,
Mhm.
we're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
unless they.
Right? I
Tim
mean,
has
if
to
we
come
go
back
in
next
with our
month.
highest
Well,
numbers
actually,
that
we
we're
can't do anything
allowed.
about it.
we can go over 230 now.
Oh,
They'd have to reject we have to offer we can offer up to 230. We could
Right.
offer 210, whatever. We offered the average two appraisals. If they reject that, that's why we go through the RDC, is because then you guys can negotiate beyond that if you need to.
Okay.
We can't.
You have more flexibility.
We
If
can.
they rejected it through the town council, it's a one and done. That's what
Mhm.
they can offer. That's it.
Yep.
Again, I don't know where they'll land on this one, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 100725, resolution concerning the acquisition of real property.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, next we have resolution 001000725A concerning the acquisition of real property at 6794 North 600 West.
So this
So
one
now-
was a lot more interesting.
I bet.
For many reasons. So, to pull the Band-Aid, the average was 437,500. I had two very different appraisers. One did a very standard approach, square footage divided by something, and came in at like 500,000.
Mm-hmm.
The other one argued with me which they don't normally do. They don't normally call me. But he's like, this guy, he was worried about it. He's like, I appreciated this appraiser a lot because he talked to the owner a lot too and tried to explain reasoning to it. He's like, there's no comps on something like this. No one's buying round barns. There's just not a lot of them out there. And there's no main structure on there. The other issue is the owner of the round barn has been very nice, very accommodating, but in his head feels that this is unique, so it's worth a lot of money. And so he's thrown a very, very high. We're very off on this number. I'll just say that. The appraiser explained to him that actually it's the exact opposite. It's not worth that much because it's so unique. It's almost impossible to finance. It needs a lot of work. He had a bunch of reasons. I don't even remember all of them, but he's like, these are harder to deal with because a buyer basically has to come in with cash, and that the town's probably your best buyer for this because we can pay cash and take it over. If you have to go through traditional finance or something, you're going to be really hard to get someone to finance this deal.
Well,
So-
I'm not a farmer, but is a round barn like functionally obsolete? Just what? I'm thinking you want.
Yeah, you're not going to
Quarters.
use it for a
Quarters of your
barn. You're
barn.
going to use it for a house or something else, or you're going to keep it. You're not.
It's living quarters now.
Oh, okay.
And I would say the other barn is not totally unusable, but it's going to take a lot more work than I was hoping for. So there's a lot there. They got it out of tax sale a long time ago. So he actually had a slightly lower number, and then he waited to see the other one, and he raised his a little bit off of some comps that he found that he used more traditional home comps. So he was lower. So there was a pretty decent gap there, but it was, I think he was 370, 375.
Yeah,
The other one was
375.
5. But it was real fascinating to hear how he did it and how he sees the value, and that he doesn't believe it's worth as much as, but if you own it, it's worth what you want it to be worth, right?
Right.
You're the owner. So a lot of work here. Again, we decided to do the septic after the phase one after walking through there, just because we're aware of the septic and whatnot. Good news is there's not a lot of easements or anything that we got to worry about. I'll be curious what the structural. Everything looked solid. Like I don't think the structural engineer reports are going to come back and say I have concerns. Other than, you sure you want to do this? But again, as I said last time, we have to go into this knowing it's a long-term vision that's going to take years to get, go in there and phase one, stabilize the buildings. Phase two is put the utilities in. Phase three is get the parking lot in. Every year you're going to have to do a project, and then maybe at some point the town's in a position where we take out a large park bond to do several big projects, and we will fold this in and get it really rolling. So we're going to have to be patient on this property, but I think in the long run this can be a really cool property for the community. So this is the initial offer. I know we're off from what the owner thinks it's worth, but we'll just see how it negotiates and go from there. This is one we'll probably, I think I said last time, we'll probably overpay for, but it's also one of the more unique properties that we have left in our community. So,
Do we have a high end that
you're going to tell me that.
Yeah, right
well,
now.
I'm looking for some input. What?
I think I hate to say it on the record.
We can only offer what our averages are.
Right now, this is all we can offer. This is the average. I wouldn't go lower than the average because you're already below where I believe we're going to be at. So, happy to
Is
talk
he
to you on the
20%
side.
higher in his mind, 30% higher?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is
We
he
could-
aware of like the right of way issues too as well? I mean, this
He
could-
is, and like I said, the appraiser actually did us a lot of favor, not because we asked him to or anything, just kind of gave him a reality check. But I also don't believe he has to sell this property. He does have property over in Illinois, he wants to move, but I would also argue he's making a really good return since he got it from tax sale. He has invested in it. He has done some nice improvements, but, yeah, I would say I wouldn't balk at this number if I were him, but I don't think that's where we land.
Has he tried to market it at all before or anything? Has he tried to sell it?
He's talked to a realtor, and that's his other thing, as well as put it on the market, and we're like, okay, you can do that. We'll see where it goes. I would still buy the other property, so.
He's acknowledged that if he put it on the market, he'd have to do some fixes up there, so he knows that. And he's not put it on the market yet, but he's talked to people who have been interested in the past, and he's always been at some level open to talking about it.
So we don't know if like a realtor or if somebody's given him a number that's close to,
No, I don't believe a
Whatever they
I don't believe a realtor's giving him a number.
Or any
And the
suggestions
number he
or-
told me was different than the number he told the appraiser too. I will say that. They were off a little bit.
Depends on who he's talking to.
So I think we can have a reasonable conversation. I don't think we land on 437.5, but I think we can get where I'd be comfortable on a number with a slight gulp. So right, as for today's resolution, our offer is the average of the two appraisals, and these appraisals were a little more off than the other ones. The other ones were pretty close. This one was $125,000 difference.
So when you make an offer, your paperwork essentially is going to say subject to survey phase 1 structural inspection.
All that stuff,
Being positive.
splitting costs,
Yeah.
closing costs, all that fun stuff.
Okay. But any other discussion? Okay. I move that we approve resolution number 100725A, resolution concerning the acquisition of real property.
I second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
All opposed?
And you said you
Motion
printed those?
passes 5-0.
We just printed those, so we'll grab the, don't leave until you
Right,
sign
sign
those
them.
resolutions for us.
Okay.
So, Ryan's gonna go get them.
All right. Next, we have an introduction of McCord Square Phase 2 projects and structure.
Yep. So, we've been talking about this for a while, just to clarify, we'd always talked about the Thomas and the Tower properties, Phase 2 and 3. In this particular case, we're talking about the last 6 parcels in the initial phase. So we've kind of changed how we're talking about this. We had been talking to the White family that owns Leo's, that had taken over the main investment of the current properties. And then Rebar's the one that came in and gave us the numbers and kind of the layout of this. So we had been waiting on those for a while. We got them. Our goal, 9 Stars wrapping up their building, IU's functional, the other 2 apartments are functional. We don't want to lose momentum there. We know we have road projects coming in. We know we're going to be working on the park next year. But we want to continue to see momentum in McCord Square. So, however, some factors that we had to think about, we weren't, everyone was a little skittish on SB1. We're still skittish on SB1, but I think there's going to be some pretty significant changes to that next year. So as we dive into analyzing this, I'm going to be much more conservative than they were. They're looking at 100%, and I'm looking at like 80 tops. So, and we'll get into some of the X factors to that in a second. The other thing is we're going to have enough bonds over the next several years for different projects, different phases. I didn't want to consider 6 different bonds for you guys and then have to manage that. So I've been pushing them to do a master developer bond, which is that even though we have several different developers doing projects here, I want to do one deal, one economic development deal, one bond, and finish the project. And then however they distribute that on the back end, as well as all the minimum taxpayer, we'll have a master minimum taxpayer agreement, and then there will be sub-minimum taxpayer agreements to the different developers for their portions. So we're trying to streamline this because it's too much to manage otherwise.
So does the master developer consummate individual agreements with each of the sections?
Yep, and all that would get recorded. That's
Is
actually
that a
them.
public document, or is that actually private?
No, that'd be
those?
private on them.
Okay.
Our master document will cover the
Yep.
main source, so.
Okay. So
in
they
the
can cut
end-
their own deals after that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I know that's more work on their end, but from our end, that's cleaner and easier. So, all right, well, actually, let me. Can I turn around here? Wait, not for you. Budget. So phase 2 and 3, and it's phase 2 and 3. They're proposing what's called a draw bond. So again, we have 6 parcels, maybe 5. We'd take out the bond all at once, but we wouldn't use all the bond right away. So you draw what you need for the different projects. So just remaining 6 lots, initial phase. They're proposing about 91,200 square feet of commercial space, minimum 4 restaurants, around 206 apartments with a $70 million investment. And then on top of that, we're frantically working to secure our Ready 2 investment in the park, which is about $2.6 million. And then we have other investments we'll talk about in a second. So what we are talking about is these red highlighted lots. So you have the Jackson Lucas, I might have those reversed. You have the 2 bigger lots, 2 smaller project lots, this lot we'll talk about, and then this lot up here. And then that kind of completes your phase 1 territory, minus us finishing out the park, which Ready 2 is going to start with. There will be additional work that'll need there over the course of this project.
I thought on lot 1, Rebar was gonna build a small, is that
That's
still, I still have
The next slide, Alex.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Great. Well, here we go.
All right.
The Greeks building, it's no state secret there. This would be phase 2 is the immediates. Phase 3 is we don't quite have a plan yet in the draw bond, just so you're aware. So
Okay.
right away, this one would actually be rebar development. It's 2 stories, 6,500 square feet with retail, a restaurant. I don't know if you can guess who on the first floor, and then apartments or condos on the second floor. Not a lot. There's like 3, I think. And you
Can
could
you go back just a second real quick?
go back.
Just go back so I can see the whole overview again.
Exhaust
So lot 1.
So we're right here.
Gotcha.
Sorry, we're right here next to IU.
Yep.
It's a smaller lot. It's a tuck-in lot that we didn't originally plan for. Sorry, I
Okay.
forgot to explain that. So that's your first building. That one's been ready to go. That one's been teed up. And the White family didn't really want to do it, couldn't make it work, but Rebar has kind of come back in and said, well, I'll do that project. So there's developer number 1. Lot 4, and I guess I'll go back. Lot 4 is next to the multi-use building here, so bigger lot. This is a 4-story commercial. It actually is an L. The next screen will show you the layout. Well, you can see the L here. So this would be Main Street, apartments on the 3rd floor, and all the floor on this, which is the road back to 9 Star. We don't think we can have good commercial on a side road that goes back to 9 Star, but the entire frontage is commercial on the first floor, including a minimum 2 restaurants on this project. So it's 13,600 square feet, 63 apartments.
That's a 4-story?
So we originally were pushing a 3, and they want to go a 4.
That is rinky dinky there.
Square footage? Yeah, it doesn't seem like much.
Well, let's
square
talk
footage.
about it. So this is Main Street, and then this is the road, and then it curves into 9 Star there. What's that called? Union Street is right here. Sorry, this isn't a better map. So, and then our park's right. You can kind of see our pond right here. So this is all parking. You have commercial on the first floor here. Then it splits into a full apartment building with 3 over here, 3 stories of apartments on the main street. We're really excited about that because I was surprised to see 4 stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
So it's like a 3,500 square foot footprint. I guess it's the same as Greeks. I mean, that's not an accurate representation of that for sure.
yeah.
It'd be more like what we saw in Greeks.
And unlike the last time, first floor, majority commercial.
100. Are you?
100%.
Yeah.
On the main street.
On the Main Street
Main
side,
Street side.
not this side. They might curve
We're
it
not
to the
gonna
first
come
lot.
back and do what they did the last time and say, oh, well, we
They're very aware, and the market. They've now seen the market demand, so we
Okay.
know like anything we're building here is first floor commercial. But this is Union Street, which is going to be you could probably get commercial in there if you sat on it enough, but we're okay with the Union Street stretch having apartments. But this corner is a restaurant, and then I think either that corner in there is at least a restaurant. So it's an L building. We did debate about which way the L should go because you have Main Street and should it go here, which is where Maple and everything is, but we wanted to kind of block some of the parking from 600. So we think this is the better route to go, to push the building back so that when you're coming down off 600, you see building instead of parking lot.
Don't let it cast a shadow line on that park that's right across the street.
Right here.
What's the occupancy rate on the two apartment buildings that are over there?
It's gotten a lot better. I'd have
Disney
to
sitting on
ask
a
them
bench or
to what today's numbers were, but they were
They were 75 in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
they were doing pretty good actually. It took them a while though. It's been slower.
Are they over their issues?
Oh, my face.
Are they over the what?
Issues? You know, they had some issues with the, the
Ye-
fire protection system and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Is
they're-
that all taken care of?
Yeah, they've sorted most of that out, and I mean, they wouldn't be proposing another 4-story apartment building if they didn't feel comfortable with the
This is
leasing
the
of the
same
first one.
people.
Same group. This is the White family. So first one was Rebar. This one is actually the White family proposing
Okay.
this one. They're ready to go. Well, they're kind of ready to go. They're working on it.
So remind me though of the like the parking situation with 9 Star. I mean, does this
This helps.
exasperate or it helps? it?
Well, yeah, 9 Star is going to be tight constantly. This, you can see there's parking here. Technically, it's for the apartments and whatnot, but
Yeah.
daytime, you could share this parking.
Okay.
So that was kind of the idea is they'll have adequate parking and they can share this parking as well.
And have the Whites agreed to that with 9 Star, or is that part?
We
of
haven't
the
gotten
deal
that far
here?
down the road,
Okay.
so,
But being an economic development deal, we probably have some leverage.
Okay.
yeah.
I
That's
think
something we'll want to
probably important.
address.
I mean, because Paul will be getting all kinds of calling.
Yep.
Oh, these cars are here.
So, next building is Lot 5. I'm going to go way back. Now I regret how I did this. Lot 5 is this weird triangle lot. There's some issues currently with that. So this road isn't completely here yet, nor is this road right here because we need tower to kind of play ball. But we have a way to be able to kind of get in here and come in the back temporarily. So let me get back to it here. This property this is hard to see, I'm sorry, but you can kind of see the outline of the property. Here's the road coming off of State Road 67. Here's the apartments. Here's what will be the park.
North is to the right on this map.
Yes, north is to the right. So there will be a 2-story office building, and I'm sorry I couldn't find my sheet to tell you how big a 2-story office building. It is shared office, so this is a third developer. We wanted them to position the building across from the park as best they could, so that you kind of have an end cap to the park. They originally kind of had it in a different spot. And then on the back here, where there's an odd infill, we've had a daycare that has wanted to go in here, and we've really been pushing back on just having a daycare. It's actually a 2-story building. They actually have a daycare training area on the second floor and like space for their employees. So it is a 2-story daycare facility, but this 2-story, this is completely shared office, kind of like what's a good example?
Jaeger office.
Jaeger office buildings, something like that, and then a 2-story, and then they share the parking lot in here. That's the pond. Taco Bell's right here. So this gives us a nice end cap to the park. It fills in the spot, and we're not really factoring in the daycare, like we're not giving the daycare any kind of incentive or anything. They want to be there, so it fits in that spot. And then when you come down this road like this, they'll kind of tuck in here for now, but it'll eventually go past it. And then they have their pickup. We've thought a lot about their pickup and drop off lines because that was one of our big concerns with putting a daycare anywhere in here. But it fits this parcel, this odd parcel. It actually fits it pretty nice. So
Does JC Partners own all the outlots?
they own the outlots up here.
Okay.
This is owned by the White family, and then this is a developer who would buy. This would be the third developer of this.
Like a land lease or?
No, they'd be
You can buy it?
buying the property and then
Be
splitting
simple.
it with the. You can kind of see how they're split. I don't know if that's accurate, but they'll be splitting that into 2 parcels for the 2 different developments. So technically, there's third and fourth developer here. Okay.
So do you have to go across JC Partners land too? It does tower.
No,
and
we already
JC?
have this property here.
Okay.
We split JC Partners through the pond.
Okay.
This is the end of JC Partners.
Okay.
This is where it turns into tower.
So
right.
that little chunk right there.
But
to make
half of that is rebars. Well, the White family now. So we would simply get an entrance on the one side and then expand it down the road.
So daycare's there,
Yeah, I'll pull that and stuff.
and then Civic Drive.
So,
Nobody.
Yeah, that's pretty
okay. So this is where it gets a little interesting. So this is lot 6. Lot 6 could be held for a decision to make in phase 2, but if we decided it has been offered to the town at a very reasonable rate for property in McCord Square. We've shown some interest for a couple reasons, mainly as a new town hall site. Another one we're looking at, it's always kind of been across from the park. This site that's on the tower property. This site makes a lot of logistical sense. It's in between our 2 parks, so we'd be able to maintain our McCord Square Park and the main park. When we have events and things here, we'd have a logistics center right by. We'd have additional bathrooms. By having a town hall here, as we did with the police station with 50 extra spots, we'd be providing overflow parking on nights and weekends and busy times. So this is a very logical spot for town hall, and Rebar was able to talk to the White family and express they wanted about double what they're offering us, and kind of made them realize this is probably one of the tougher spots to build. It'll be one of the last ones that would go. And I don't know if it works for us. We're analyzing 3 different locations for our future town hall needs, but this one makes a lot of sense to us. And it'd be a more expensive building to build there because we have to meet the standards of McCord Square, but it'd also be kind of cool to be in the town center, which is where we wanted to be. It does provide overflow parking. It does provide us a way to maintain, we've been talking about where do we keep vehicles and things for maintaining all this area. That would give us a spot to do it. Plus, we'd be next to the police station, so you kind of created a municipal center right there on the tougher part that would be to develop in this area.
I'm just curious, what's justifying that statement? Why is this the tougher part?
Just because it's further off the main roads, so it's just going to take longer, I would say, to develop. You're not the most visible. You're not being seen from 67 or 600. So it's not your prime location, if you will.
The few hits that we've had on that parcel of Larry have not been land uses that were really appealing to us.
Okay. The daycare people.
That was one of them, since you brought it up. So, and for us, we like the idea that we could put a corner building here and overlook the park, and we are close to this park, and we're next to the police station, and we create a barrier, and we have overflow parking. So there's a lot of positives to it, and it's, like I said, it's a reasonable price. So if we end up saying, you know what, we're going to go ahead and buy that parcel, that would affect the bond ask, which I'll show you in a minute. So. Or if we pass on it, then it'll sit and they'll market it for a future mixed use at some point. Which
I guess I'd kind of defer to what Greg says here, but it seems like we had always targeted that area for our town hall expansion.
Yeah.
Granted, this is a Jello master plan for a while, but it seems like that's consistent with what we wanted.
Yep. You could see it on our drawing here. We always kind of had it laying there, but that's a whole nother phase with different property acquisition. This one actually logistics-wise makes quite a bit of sense to us. So we're leaning towards our recommendation being the town purchase that property.
Yep.
So,
okay.
But that's something we'll also have to talk to the town council with. So. And then phase 3, we're into phase 3 now. So those are the first projects are the Greeks building, the 4-story mixed use, the office building, the daycare, and then purchase by us of this if that's what we choose. The phase 3s are this property right next to 9 Star, and then lot 2, which is next to I don't know which one is
Jackson.
the Jackson. Lot 2 is actually proposed to be identical to Lot 4, which is 4 stories, commercial on the first floor, 63 apartments. So, but that is not, they obviously want to build the first one and get that one up and running and filled before they bite off the next one. So that lot probably sits there a while. That'll probably be the last one that goes up. And then Lot 2, I think that says, is being marketed today, looking for, they're targeting a medical first floor. At one point, they had 2 floors of medical. But 2-story, 8,000 square foot, very similar to the Greeks building, a little different configuration. Medical on the first floor, office or apartment condo on the second floor. And that's an infill next to 9-star. So that would be a phase 3 as well. If that one would probably happen sooner than the Lot 2. Just a matter of finding the user. They'll start it when they find a user. So in general, what they propose to us, and I will say I have not met, I'm meeting Thursday with our bond attorney and our FA to run numbers and do our calculations. So this is their proposal, not my proposal. So just caveat, master development draw bond, 1 bond for all projects. They propose 11.6 million max amount. If the town buys lot 6, it adjusts to an 8.35 million max amount. Taxable developer bond with minimum taxpayer agreements. So risk is off the taxpayer for the bond. It's a private placement because it's a developer bond. Other town considerations, we have allocated funds already, and some of this is part of our local match for the Ready $2, just so you're aware. Storm connection. So basically running a storm, there's a storm line that needs to go from here up this road to serve this lot. So we can't build this lot until that storm line goes in. We have agreed to put that in because it will also serve the park. So as part of the Ready 2 local match, that benefits us to help with the park stormwater. The Civic Drive connection, that is out to bid currently. That is, we are connecting from the police station up past the potential town hall site and then promenade over. And that will be done by May 31st of next year. We need that in place before we start the major intersection project at 67 and 600. We need a cut-through spot there for the police and public safety. And that'll also help Colonnade, but that'll also help some of these developable sites. So we're paying for that out of MVH cash on hand to build that.
Can you please confirm with the developer this 13,600? Because here's the math. 13,600 divided by 4 is a 3,400 square foot footprint. Take away commercial, that leaves you 10,200 square feet. You said 63 apartments.
I think those are 13,600 square foot floor plates.
Okay.
Times
floor.
4.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's very
I put this
confusing.
together today, so that's my fault.
Okay.
Those are
I
13,000.
saw you doing
Sorry,
math
like
and
it's
I was like,
162
That is
square
great
foot apartment.
feedback for me to tighten this up.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
Those are floor plates.
Welcome to New
So
Okay,
times
all right.
4 is
That
actually.
makes sense to me. Yes. The
Sorry,
13
I'm glad you
overall
questioned
did
that.
not.
Sorry.
I was like, no, we
that
don't
way-
want that.
Because that one was 8,000 square feet, and I was like, how is this happening?
No. Each floor is
Okay.
13,600.
Thank you.
That makes a lot more sense.
My fault on that one. We have to contemplate the land sale and how we pay for that. There's different ideas in my mind. We could either factor in when we're taking out the bond, we could take out the larger bond and just not cover the land sale with a minimum taxpayer agreement. We could pay, I actually have the idea that we could buy it through, because it's adjacent to the 2 parks, we could buy it through the through the park impact fees for now, and then when we build town hall, we could reimburse the park impact fees because it's really a connector of the 2 parks. So there's some creative ideas to be able to purchase that now, because I think it's about $680,000 to buy that land, somewhere in there total. And then we have Ready 2, so we have money for park improvements. We're going to need that, so I don't want to give away everything. The whole idea is we have other improvements, we have public infrastructure we need to get done. So I want to make sure when we size the bond and counter offer to them that do I want to take out some additional money to offset? Ready to sounds like a lot of money. It's 2.6 million. That basically gets you the infrastructure and a little bit of hardscape, not much more. So do we want to take out some additional funds to, whether we do the amphitheater or splash pad that we get asked for, or the restroom facility? One of our big issues with holding cars and coffee in Market is portable restrooms, nowhere to go. So maybe the restroom building becomes a priority to get done out there. So I want to factor in some additional park improvement dollars to what's being developed as well, not just 100% goes to a developer. That's not going to really help the town. We have other needs. And we have local and private matches that we have to meet for that $2.6 million ready. So I'm going to factor all this additional funding that we're doing, plus things that we need when I counter them. And we're going to be meeting with them on Thursday. Why I brought this to you now is there's quite a bit of process to this. There's just some next steps. If this goes, we need to start moving sooner than later. So I want to probably try to bring something back in November. Probably that seems ambitious to me because I also have annual reports and overlapping unit letters to get out and all that fun stuff. So December, starting the process, but also Ready 2 is demanding that we have some of these processes started sooner than later. So we might actually have a resolution at the next meeting saying we support the project and the funding, and same thing with the town council. So
Is that through just a term sheet at that stage?
basically a term sheet says we support this, we want to build this. The other things we have to consider is we're probably going to have to do a TIF amendment because this being a private bond, we'll probably have to take those parcels out and to create its own allocation area so that we're not sharing fund. We have a public infrastructure bond and we have the McCord Square bond. So we don't want to be those bonds are backed by those TIF dollars. So we're going to have to offset those. So we're going to have an amendment process for that. We're going to have the typical bond process. We're going to have the economic development agreement. I don't know what structure we'll have, if this is an EDC bond or what, so we'll have to walk through that as well. So there's going to be a lot of process in conjunction with all his process of getting projects ready to go, and we'd love to see some of these teed up to break ground in April, May of next year so that we have construction going along with our other construction in that area. Just avoid downtown next year.
I'm just curious, like, what's going on east of, McCord Square? Is there still developments being proposed there? Or has anything been approved?
So,
because it seems like that was transitioning fairly quickly to single family.
yeah, I'm trying to decide what I want to bring up on this.
Now, I was just saying, I don't want to take away from what you're saying. I'm just curious as to how it's going to with the vision.
Tower, we actually have a developer meeting tomorrow with a group that has a proposal for us on the tower property. So we have no idea what that is. Tower. Well, actually, it might be both. So we'll learn more tomorrow about how that goes.
Okay.
Otherwise, Tower's not in a huge hurry. We're working with them to try to get the Jacoby Farms project moving. Jacoby Farms, some of what was looking on the Thomas property was kind of more traditional multifamily.
Okay.
But I think we're trying to get the Jacoby Farms moving, and they have a more serious partner at this time. So I imagine if we get these done and if Jacoby gets done, we'll see what the conversation is tomorrow, that we'll get some momentum that way. We definitely need some more density in this area. The Civic Drive connection is going to help Colonnade, I think, because now it connects it to the downtown. Hampton Walk's been really successful. Lane Farm's doing well. But yeah, I wouldn't say we have a serious development in line for Tower or Thomas at this point. We've had a lot of tire kickers. I think when we get some of these infill things going, we get the park started. There it gets a little more exciting. And what we're really lacking right now is restaurants. We need restaurants in this area.
Not pizza restaurants.
We'll have one, but we need other restaurants. You're right. We need a bar, like a bar restaurant.
Just one more. Just letting Greeks in,
We we have some bad news for you. So that's really, people are liking what they're seeing. We're adding amenities. We have a few that are still getting put in this fall. You know, the fire pits have been popular. The ping pong tables have been popular. We're looking at our fountain for next year. We have the big rolling ball that's never been delivered. So there's still little pieces getting added all the time, and so it's just going to keep. But we want to get that. We want to keep that momentum.
Yeah.
So we want people to see there's more coming, and we want to be able to announce. Maple opens actually really soon. I know nobody believes me. It's happening. So,
Please send us an email
so that's kind of
on
what we
that.
see in this next phase of what we're trying to do, and then the next phase is we'll have some public infrastructure we're going to need to complete as we keep building out the road network. So I guess all we're looking for tonight, I wanted to get it in front of you, give you a basic structure of what I'm looking at. Thursday, I'll sit down and start really diving into what we counter propose. With all our assumptions of we don't want to be tight, we don't want to get in a bad situation with all the SB1, we don't want to overcommit ourselves, but we do like everything we've seen here. These are all good. This adds office space, this adds commercial space, this adds additional living, this adds restaurants. There's just a lot of good in this, and the fact that we could package it and do it as one deal, I think is very intriguing. So.
Do we
Welcome
know
to-
what our SB1 impact is, or is it
Well,
forecasted?
again, we do, and we're better off than a lot of communities because we're growing, but what it actually does is it kind of stabilizes us versus grow. So as we're adding more area and annexing, we're not capturing more money, but we're not losing as much as some of the other communities.
Okay.
But in a way, that's a loss because
Yeah,
now we
it
have
is.
more to take
Right.
care of with the same amount of money.
Right.
So we're just not seeing it on paper as much. So I think this is an important project, and I think these are all exciting. The whites are ready to go, rebar's ready to go, the developer of the office project's ready to go, and the daycare's all ready to go. They say they're waiting on us, yet I've been asking for these numbers for a month, so long time. So we're here.
Just curious, was that the triangular lot? Is that 5? Was that
Mhm.
going to be a restaurant at one point in time?
There was a pond there, and we were talking about a restaurant there for a while.
It's had a few different. There was kind of a multi-use with a courtyard there that was shown. There was I think what you're thinking about was we talked about the back of lot. What is that? 4. Having a restaurant back here that overlooked our pond. There was a conversation about that at one point.
We actually, there was a concept one time up there in the northern.
That's what I thought.
Was there one up here?
There
Yeah,
was
on
a
that
big saltwater
triangle.
pond with a restaurant.
Well, that's
Yeah.
actually on the tower property. We have that in there.
Oh.
I could pull that. How am I gonna get out of this one? I don't know if I can find
No,
this
I guess
other
I-
stuff.
So you're saying it's part of the,
But
I remember
I thought
that
it was
area was a restaurant.
Because that was supposed to be
Yeah.
more of a sit-down restaurant as opposed
Yeah.
to fast food.
Steakhouse.
If we can keep it busy. Fox Garden, maybe? I don't know. Fox Garden, McCordsville?
nope, talk to him.
He's
He has
busy
no
with,
interest.
he's busy with
No
Carnegie's now.
markups. I might not like that.
That's just going, right?
Yeah, it's okay. You're talking about oops.
Yep.
Oh, right here. This was kind of a concept of a restaurant overlooking a pond. That might all change tomorrow. We'll see. This was all conceptual.
Yeah.
And this kind of shows what you're talking about. See, we had kind of the open air one there. We never did a rendering where that restaurant was down here kind of overlooking the pond. You can see kind of the L building on this. This is the Thomas property.
Yep.
This is the Tower property. And then this is Jacoby Farms.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So there's no action to take. I just wanted to get it in front of you. I wanted to get feedback. I wanted to see if we were panicking, if we hated it, if it's going in the right direction. now it's a numbers game.
Yeah. Well, and we don't want to miss the Ready grant because it could be discontinued.
They kind of snuck in some
Years.
tight timelines on us. So Ryan and I got some work to do by November 1st, and then we have additional work to get done by December 1st.
Yeah.
It's been a moving target this whole time. IDC, obviously, if you watch the news, the IDC's been
Very
under scrutiny
fluctuating.
since the new governor's been
Boone
in.
County
so-
just called for another audit.
Yeah, yep. So we're just hoping we keep landing it, so we're going to keep doing what they tell us to do so we can hopefully get it. So I'd hate to lose out on $2.6 million.
Okay. Next we have the town council liaison report.
Yeah, I got nothing to worry on.
No? All right.
Not according to Facebook.
No, actually, we're just finalizing our budget, so next council meeting, we'll be voting the budget and getting that, you know, like Tim said, SB1's had a bigger impact on more of the schools and some of these less growing communities, so that we'll be in good shape.
We're in good financial shape
We'll
for
be able to grow
26.
into it. So
That's nice for you.
I hope it helps you guys. That's the other thing.
Do because
Not
schools
pretty.
did get hit really hard in SB1. Hopefully they make some changes. I haven't heard a lot on the school side, but we're trying. We look at these projects as
I know.
how can we minimize impacts to the schools. Minus, obviously when you're adding apartment stuff, you're adding population of schools, but financial wise, we're trying to make sure we're not taking everything and passing
Yeah.
through what we can to keep the schools healthy.
Yeah.
The only other thing you guys should be aware of is the Vernon Township Fire Territory purchased some future land for a third fire station up off of 700 7 north and 4 west. So we had a community member who was really worked well with us to help us acquire that. So appreciate it.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Zero.
All right. Well, then our next meeting will be November 4th.
That is election day. Do we still have it that day?
There's
No local election this year,
Okay.
but good catch.
So
But we can vote if we want to, right? Yeah.
we will be voting.
It just popped up on my phone as election day. I just wanted to make sure, I'll show up and you won't be here like last time.
So I see what's happening.
Pete, you just thought maybe it was a campaign like last time.
Yeah,
no,
run into
no
you.
signs, you just
There's
show up.
like 6 votes, and only 48 people show up,
All right. Well, I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion